Now, the plane carrying Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and his wife has landed at Stewart Air National Guard Base in New York. Following their capture, Maduro has been since taken to U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration office in New York. Now, this follows overnight U.S. strikes across Venezuela, including in the capital, Caracas, with reports of explosions, low-flying aircraft, power outages, and heavy military presence. Now, President Donald Trump announced the operation on social media, claiming U.S. forces working with law enforcement captured Maduro over alleged drug trafficking links. The move marks a historic escalation in U.S.-Venezuela relations. Many warn that the capture of a sitting president is a serious violation of international law and sets a dangerous precedent after past U.S. interventions.
We can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela, and that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a proper transition can take place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually.
You know, it's not very surprising that this action has taken place because it was being anticipated in terms of the U.S. wanting regime change in Venezuela. And you're aware of the military buildup in the Caribbean surrounding the Caribbean Sea surrounding Venezuela, one of the largest buildups of U.S. naval and other forces. So I think what happened in the night and the early morning is a very sort of precise, coordinated attack. We still don't know the extent of damage to Caracas, but whatever I could see on television, on the international television channels, that the damage did. I'm not sure whether there was extensive damage. Nothing like what the sort of bombing of Baghdad, or for that matter, attacks on that Israel conducted against Gaza. So I think they're obviously as a very calculated move to extract President Maduro.
Now the question is, the big question, what's next for Venezuela? Now the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, a party that faces internal power struggle following the capture of President Nicolás Maduro. Now Russia and China condemn the intervention, risking tensions. They have said it, they have condemned the whole attack by the US in Venezuela, warning that such actions violate sovereignty and could escalate global tensions as well. Now, neighboring nations like Colombia brace for migration. At the same time, global attention is focused on President Maduro's narco-terror trial in the United States, which has significant implications for international criminal law enforcement and Venezuela's political future as well. Now, the trial is likely to influence both diplomatic relations and internal power dynamics as well. Now, as the situation continues to evolve, we'll see how the Venezuela politics evolve in the future as well. Now, as we know that President Maduro has been captured by the United States and President Maduro has been slapped with several criminal charges. And we are joined by Siddhant Mishra on this broadcast. Siddhant, looks like Trump has forgotten his quest for the Nobel Peace Prize, but he has made his point pretty clear. What is the end goal here?
Well, look, right now it's very important that that Venezuela remains stable in terms of governance. We have been informed that a Supreme Court of Venezuela has appointed the Vice President to be heading the country, and this decision has been taken by Supreme Court as per the Constitution of Venezuela. So it is very important that Venezuela remains stable because yesterday, right after the arrest of Maduro, there were protests on the streets of Caracas. In fact, there are groups which are happy with this military raid conducted by the US government, arresting Maduro, taking him to the United States. But again, there are people who are not happy with such kind of raids being conducted by US government. In fact, they want Maduro back in Venezuela. So, this has been the history that wherever US invades or perhaps sends its troops, perhaps that region, that country becomes unstable. So right now, the most important point is that Venezuela remains stable. As far as Maduro and his wife is concerned, perhaps they are in the United States. They'll be prosecuted under the US laws. Back to you, Harsh.
Right, Siddhant. Siddhant, do tell our viewers that this particular vice president who has been appointed as the interim president by the Supreme Court, does this have the blessings of Donald Trump, this particular decision by the Venezuela Supreme Court?
Well, yesterday, Harsh, if you hear Donald Trump's press briefing, then he very clearly mentioned that, that we are going to run Venezuela. The people standing behind me are going to run Venezuela for a while. And that is a clear message which President has sent to the other stakeholders in Venezuela, including the Vice President, their army chief, their leader of opposition, that no matter who is running the country there, maybe the Vice President will be heading the country, she will become the President. There could be somebody else also contributing in the governance, but US will call the shots, and that is crystal clear, and that has been made clear by President Trump himself yesterday.
Right, Siddhant. Many thanks, Siddhant, for gathering all that. Now, we'll keep coming back to you for further updates as well. Now, the big charges against Maduro. Now, charge one against President Nicolás Maduro is that narco-terrorism conspiracy. Now, that is the first charge against President Nicolás Maduro. Now, the second charge against the President of Venezuela, that is cocaine importation conspiracy. Now, this is a very big charge that has been slapped on the Venezuelan president. Now, charge 3 is possession of machine guns, of having machine guns inside the official residence of Nicolás Maduro. Now, charge 4 is the possession of a destructive device as well. Now, these are the charges. Now, charge 5th against the Venezuelan president is the conspiracy against the US. As we know that Donald Trump has targeted the Venezuelan president only because of the fact that he thinks that the President of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, has been trying to target the US in different ways. Now, for more updates on this, we'll cut to the live coverage on CNN.